What's cracking, everybody? Hello and welcome back to Gaming 101 with Mr. Berger. Tonight we got my guests, of course my beautiful girlfriend Clarissa, and the other amazing woman in my life, Two Fangs here. She'll give you guys a little kiss hello with her tongue, maybe.
See how close I can get. There we go.
So anyway, what we're doing tonight, guys, is this is a really similar deck to one that I shared recently. I just made some minor adjustments to my ladder deck here, and it's one that's it's kind of a cheap gimmicky deck, but it's serving me well for kind of just pushing up a little bit past the 4,000, 4,300 range. So I think the last one that I did had Mega Minion in it. I also did a variation with like Poison in it so that I had a medium spell in there on top of the Rage and the Zap for my light spell. But this time I went ahead and put Bats in there. I got the Minion Horde as well. And the idea that I had behind this was I wanted to give it an element of Zap Bait, because Zap for a long time has been like one of the most widely used cards in the whole game. Because it's such a cheap spell, you know, it falls into that light spell category next to Log, and it has that interrupt effect, and it's cast instantly. Well, you know, there's always going to be that minor delay time, that 1 second delay whenever you put any card down. She's coming for me.
Agitated.
Yeah. But anyway, whenever you put a card down, there's going to be that 1 second delay, but Zap is relatively instant after that. So I'm pretty fond of it, and a lot of people are. So you'll see it in most decks. It has like an over 50% usage rate, which means it's used in like over half the decks of all players in the game, basically. And so having that ability to zap it out, to bait out that zap, is definitely really good. And there's still an element of kind of fireball bait with this deck, because you'd be surprised. They'll often actually fireball your eBarbs when you send in that eBarb Rage and they don't have anything to counter it. Then that might be like a last resort or the only thing that they have in hand, and they'll fireball those eBarbs, and then they won't have it with for your minion horde, so you'll be able to punish with that minion horde. Basically, you can see there he fireballed as kind of a last resort to, you know, take care of that last eBarb there. So ideally they're gonna zap your bats, right? You're gonna place down the bats and they'll zap them, and then they won't be able to use it on your minion horde, so you'll have, you know, free usage of your minion horde. And the minion horde synergizes really well with the Rage, as you can see there. Most times you're going to be using the Rage with the eBarbs, but of course you can definitely use it with like that hog push, or even with just like the bats, or it's very powerful, as I just mentioned earlier, with the minion horde. Now if you're looking for more specific strategy in this deck, I did recently I maxed my eBarbs video, and it kind of explains, you know, the idea that I had behind this eBarb Rage deck that I was running. This is just a slight tweak of it. So I mentioned the major difference that I made, so at this point I just kind of want to run through and look at the gameplay decisions that I make. You can see there, even though that he used eBarbs on defense and they're the same, they're max level, my Rage allowed them to counter his eBarbs. So mine won that fight there, that kind of 2-on-2 brawl there that they had going on. And then one of my eBarbs ran up and smacked the tower a couple times and got some solid damage off. I'll often put the Hog behind the Knight, and that gives him kind of a little mini tank to soak up some of the damage. Putting that Ice Spirit down to support it, in front or behind, works out. If you put it in front, the Ice Spirit is a really nice kind of little mini tank, soaks up a few shots from the Princess Tower before your Hog gets there. eBarbs, of course, are really good on defense, like so. Generally, they can be used to shut down heavy units like golems or giants, but in that case, I just used them to counter his Goblin Gang. And since he didn't really have anything in hand, because he's got a pretty heavy deck here, he didn't really have anything to counter it. So is Two Fangs losing it over here? She's
a little agitated.
A little agitated? Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay.
She'll be okay.
Alright, sounds good. Maybe she wants to say hi to her daddy over here.
Probably.
Alright, so at this point I've got that 1 crown lead. So at this point you can often play hard defense. But of course he does have a pretty scary deck. He's got that minion horde and the balloon coming at me. And I don't have too much to counter air all the time, especially if my bats or my minion horde are out of rotation, because that's about it. The Ice Spirit, of course, can't do much against the balloon. It'll slow it down for a little bit, but that's not too much. Excuse me. And so I need that minion horde, or those bats at least, in hand to counter that balloon. And he's also got an eBarb, max level eBarbs, and you know, it's a pretty scary deck. And you'll notice a lot, people will be running a lot of commons and rares in this trophy range because they're a lot easier to level up, and that's kind of what wins you the game on ladder, having the higher level cards. So let's see what I got here. I'm waiting for his excuse me, I'm waiting for his wizard to cross, and here comes the air assault again. I got the little ice spirit on defense, and then I actually used the knight to distract all his minions, and I zapped them to finish off most of them, and then I got the bats in hand, and there you can see that he zapped the bats, but they got enough swings off that the Princess Tower and the King Tower could finish it off. So I'm really kind of scared of the balloon at this point, so I go for an aggressive push in the left here. He puts his eBarbs in the right, so I use mine on defense, and mine will naturally win the battle if he doesn't support them with anything, because I got the support of the Princess Tower. He does send in the fire spirits there, and that allows them to finish off the job and kill my eBarbs, but they did their job and played defense. So here I use the knight in the pocket to distract both his king and Princess Tower. I send in the hog with a rage effect, and that allows it to get a little bit of or rather a few swings off on the tower. Pretty solid chunk. I was going to say a little bit of damage, but it was a really solid chunk of damage there. And I get really kind of scared here because I got to defend against that balloon, but his tower is so low, so I freeze it, and my zap, that max level zap, comes into play and actually pulls off the win there at the last second before his balloon can kill my tower with its second auto attack. Alright guys, so this last match here is against kind of a Hog-Cycle, a pretty classic Hog-Cycle. He's running fire spirits though, as you can see, and he's running Tesla. Tesla has found its way back into the meta for sure, and that's because it was buffed, and it just kind of plays the role of like a cannon or an Inferno Tower sometimes, kind of that defensive structure, but kind of does a better job of it now due to the fact that it was buffed. So you'll see it in those kind of cheap Hog-Cycle decks, and he's doing a slight variation of it. He's running the fire spirits and he's running goblins, but he does have that classic fireball, hog, musketeer. Boy, she's really chilled out now, huh?
Yeah, I think she wanted you.
Yeah, she probably missed me. Let's say hi to the camera too.
Guess I'm not such a snake charmer.
Here she is. She's gonna be a celebrity now. A Clash Royale celebrity. Alright, here comes the eBarb Rage, and that quickly destroys that tower. And, you know, that's that. Goodbye, Princess Tower. So oftentimes with this deck, you'll be able to do something like that with the Minion Horde or the eBarbs, and just get that sweet rage push in, and just decimate a tower, and then you can kind of play defense. Or just play it safe throughout the rest of the match, and try to win by, you know, 1 crown. Because they're likely only going to fall to that eBarb Rage push once. Unless you get a really solid elixir advantage on them, or use them on defense, and out-cycle whatever counter they have, then they're probably not going to lose a tower to the eBarb Rage combo again. So, if you can get them to fall for it once, and get that tower down and play safe for the rest of the match, you can kind of ensure that victory. Now here, I have that max level Knight, and Knight was the first card that I maxed out, because he's really powerful. And he got nerfed into Oblivion for a little while, but I still used him because he was maxed out. And then he got a slight buff recently, so he's relatively decent at this point. But he does a really good job of playing defense, and providing an extra solid amount of DPS when necessary, as support, or even to chip away. You know, kind of a Valkyrie-like role. Place him on the support units to destroy them, while your tank killer is killing their tank. Alright, here we got the Minion Horde against the Hog. I do have a few answers to his Hog here. I got the Minion Horde, oh hi there. And I got the Elite Barbarians, and both of them shut down the Hog really well. If I absolutely have to, I've even got like the Bats or the Knight. They won't do it as quickly, but they will do it if necessary. So you can see there I sent in the eBarbs, but it's not even necessary. The Hog does a quick and good job of finishing off the tower. Alright guys, so that's it for this nice short little video on my current ladder deck. I've been having fun with it. I'm probably going to continue to make alterations and a few tweaks. If I'm having that element of Zap Bait in there, I think I want an even greater element of Zap Bait, so maybe I need like a Goblin Gang or something like that in there. But I'm this close to maxing out my Hog at this point, so I'm definitely going to keep playing that Hog deck. Maybe I'll go back to Hog Lightning if I could get my Lightning up. But again, you can see in this deck, the only epic spell that I have, the only epic card that I have, is Rage. And that's because all the other cards are rare and common. They're easier to level up. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know if you want to see more of Two Fangs.
Who wouldn't?
Right? I agree. Alright, thanks for watching guys. And have a good night.